Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Fear is something we all deal with all the time. Unfortunately, it can cripple us. It can hold us back from living the great life that we envision, that we want to live. But when you start changing your mindset on the fear, it rapidly starts moving forward. We're going to talk about the momentum of change and fear with somebody who is a life coach, massage therapist, cancer survivor, speaker, and so much more. Patti McGee is back with us. Patti, welcome. How you doing?
Steve, hi. Well, thank you for having me again. I'm doing awesome. You know, the weather here in Georgia is just phenomenal. Life is good. Life is happy.
Yeah, I have a friend from school who's actually visiting a couple of weeks ago, lives in Georgia, recently moved there. He's in the mountains, northern Georgia.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm seeing on Facebook, like now he's getting out. Like he's going out. Hey, we just had dinner here. We went trivia night here. We did this. We did that. Because I guess the weather is nice. Same thing in the New York area today. Gonna hit 80. Gonna hit 80 back to 60 something tomorrow. So,
Oh, nice.
yeah, can't complain.
Yeah, most of our areas, most of our restaurants here, you can eat out all year round. Where I am.
Okay, where about in Georgia are you?
I'm in the Duluth area.
Okay.
So they just have these awning things that they put down, and they have little heaters, and it's phenomenal.
One thing I will say, we visited him, my other friend, we're all friends. We just, kind of did a reunion back in October. And where he is, and again, it's kind of up in the mountains in the north. All the stuff closes early. Sunday afternoon, we're passing by. It's like, oh, there's a steak place. Let's hit that later. Bob, sorry, close at 4 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon.
Oh, wow. Yeah, not where I am.
Oh,
10,
wow.
11.
Well, I guess that's what they do up in the mountains. I don't know. So, use him as an example. He made a change. He moved from Florida, first New York to Florida for many years, and then literally just last year made that change to Georgia. And there's a lot of fear can be involved in moving, fear involved in making changes in your life, changing relationships and such. Why do you think we have such fear in making change? Why is that?
Because at the base of what we believe fear is a lie that we've been believing, something that we've been told, that we've harbored inside of us, or something that we've told ourselves. I can't, I won't, how can I, when will this end? Where is my money? How am I going to pay my bills? How, the anger, the frustration, it's all there. And we really have to identify our reality, because we become so attached to who we've been that we don't know how to move into who we are. We get afraid to do that.
So 2 thoughts there. Do you think it's our DNA, our makeup, that we are wired to fear something? And it goes, back to primitive times, because we always want to be safe. We always want to be safe. So we go back to the comfortable in our subconscious. So we don't make that change, because comfortable is just that.
Now, I think we don't develop the fear until we're in the situation. Something has happened to us,
Sure.
In a family situation or a relative or in school. And then that creates our inability to move beyond it. And a good example was my dad. He was growing up, we had a lot of fun. We snowmobiled, we did everything, a lot of fun. And then he got into a snowmobile accident and broke his leg and feared he couldn't work. And it really set him back years, being out of work for like 2 months with the broken legs. He snowplowed, and he couldn't bring the income in for our family. And so it took him a long time. So he went snowmobile after that moment. He almost developed like this fear of going back out into the world and living. And that's what happens when trauma hits us. We stop maturing at that age. We stop growing at that point.
And it's understandable, his situation. I call it a regret. For years, there would be times where, I was in his situation and I would fear losing income? What about if I lose this job? How am I going to take care of my family? What if it all works out? You know, if you have some faith, it's going to be okay. Stop, get out of the freak mode. But I jeopardized some fun because of that. Take on another job, then you're lacking sleep, then you're grouchy around your kids, but you don't intend to be. You're just trying to take care of everybody, and you have that fear of what if.
Right. And we have to become aware of the situation, like when we're in it. You know, at work the other day, I had a massage client, and her other friend was like, don't let her talk all through it and tell you what's going on in her life. Let her relax. And I'm like, well, maybe that is her way of relaxing. So I was asking her, what do you got going on? She goes, well, we got 3 birthdays. We've got my husband's birthday. We had Easter, just time crunch of everything. And I just can't get it all done. And, I'm afraid it's not going to turn out. So I asked her how old her kids were. And her oldest one's like 8 or something. I said, so for 8 years, you've been doing this.
Hmm.
And however long you've been married to your husband, you've been celebrating his birthday. How many times has it not worked out? She goes, never. I said, so let's take a deep breath in and relax and just believe that you've got this under control, because you do. And don't let it create that anxiety inside of you.
It has been scientifically proven. Maybe we talked about it because I always go back to this because it's so impactful for everybody. But 93%, and that's the current number, it fluctuates, to 91, 94% every time they do the study. 93% of the stuff that we worry about never takes place.
Never.
Never. You are wasting your time. You're investing your energy, your time, your emotion, your anxiety. Stop. Don't do it anymore. Why worry about it? And guess what? Most of the things that we worry about, we can't control anyway.
Absolutely. We have to look at the price of inaction, at what that fear is stopping us from doing. Maybe it's meeting the future love of our life. Maybe it's a better job, a whole new area. For me, I decided to move to Georgia 4 years ago, and just packed up, got rid of everything. And I took the chance that I would like it. Because the price of inaction where I was, I realized now I probably should have moved 30 years ago. But I was so attached to my mother and so attached to my family and relatives. And I had that fear that I couldn't.
And what did you do? You went inside, because inside you has the answer. It knows what you need, what you want. So you listen to it, and then you made a change.
You get that inner healing. You get those dreams and those visions. And when you start working on them, the fear is the symptom of everything we do. We got to take care of that symptom in us. It's just like having a cold or the flu. You take the symptoms and you work on it to heal it. It might be a cup of soup. It might be, a medication or something. But for us, we got to look at the symptoms inside of us and what it's causing. That inaction. Is it causing the disease and illness? And by us not taking that step. Have you ever done a high ropes course?
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it? If you ever get a chance to go outdoors to an adventure park and
I know what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah. Where you're climbing up and you're tethered in, and you take those steps out. A few years back, 2 friends of me went to this climbing place, and you had 3 levels, and they were both Christians, and they're always telling me, we don't live by the spirit of fear, and not, you're not fearful, because that's what the Bible tells us, right? So I'm new to Christianity, but we go out there, and it literally took us 45 minutes to go in a square. Everybody was afraid to take those steps on there. We got done, and I was embarrassed. Internally, I was like, no, this can't happen. So the next day I woke up, I'm like, no, And so 2 days later, I went back, me and one of my friends, we went back, and I took that first step and I just started climbing on all the ropes. And that's what we have to do in life. This change for you to happen, you've got to embrace it. You've got to tell yourself you're safe. And I had to realize that harness kept me safe, that I was going to be okay every step of the way. And if I misstepped, I was harnessed in, it was still going to be okay. And moving to Georgia, if I misstepped, if I missed it and it wasn't where I was supposed to be, I was still going to be okay.
Yeah. It's that internal faith that you have in yourself, and also maybe faith in the universe that it's going to support you as long as you do the right thing. That's my belief that, everything, it's going to fall into place. It's going to be okay. My friend did what you did. And I envy him and you. Just packing up and going. It was years ago. He was a computer guy working in New York City, and he just got to the point where he's like, I'm not doing this anymore. And his wife was making jewelry and selling it, on the side. They had a shed in the back, and it was glass jewelry, and she had a kiln, and she would fire the glass jewelry. Very pretty, very creative. And he just went online. This is like 2000, I want to say 4, somewhere around there. Just went online, found a farmhouse in Maine for, I think it was $125,000, 90 acres. Didn't even see it. Said, that's it. Buying it. Doop, bought it. They moved. She started making jewelry. He started making jewelry. That's how they supported themselves. They have now a little farm with chickens and animals, and they have a barn. That's where she shows her jewelry. They sell supplies. They sell the stuff online. He got a couple of jobs with the state computer-wise, just to supplement every once in a while. But that's their life. That's it. And they're super happy, and a complete change. And he's one of those people where I always viewed him as, you could pick him up and drop him anywhere, and he'd figure it out, which is what we should all do. Because it's not so much this that, you're MacGyver and can figure things out. It's more of this, like, I got it. It's okay.
Yeah. You have to see something bigger in you. And that's the benefit of having a life coach.
Yeah.
They can see it. They can hear it in you. We can take the person and step back and listen and say, okay, this is where they need to go here. This is what we need to do. Are you willing to do these action steps? Whether it's a video with answers to the questions, a life sheet. Okay, a life sheet on identify the reality of where you're at right now. Let's tell your story so you can figure out your next step.
And a life coach is going to see those things that you are not seeing. Be it fear in yourself, the change that you're looking at that you don't think you can do. And once a life coach gets all those details, they put it all together and say, all right, well, realistically, this is what we got. You're way better than you thought you were.
Yeah. What's your satisfaction pie in life that we can uncover all these fears and find out what isn't real, what you're believing that's not real about you and about the world.
How does that acronym go? FEAR, false evidence appearing real.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
We started talking about the momentum of change, and you mentioned it quickly. I just want to put a microscope on it because I believe so much of it. Like when you start making changes in your life, and a lot of us just keep doing life like this, play it safe, play it safe, play it safe. When you start making those changes, at least I know on my journey, they become easier. They become easier. It's almost like the snowball down the hill. In my 2-year journey here of some major changes, one of my mantras is nothing surprises me.
Yeah.
Nothing surprises me. I don't know if that's right, but I'm prepared, because things are going to change. So instead of, if you talked to me 5 years ago, me going, oh my God, how am I going to deal with this? I was like, whatever. All right. Yeah. It was a mountain back then, now I call it a speed bump in life. Yeah, let's just drive over
Yes.
that onto the next thing. Drive over
Yes.
that onto the next.
You climb the mountain every day. You climb a different mountain. We come outside of our comfort zone and really step into who we are. I had a great experience yesterday because sometimes we don't see who we are, and we have to have people that pull these things out of us.
Mm-hmm.
Working on our value for this change that we want to go through. And I had my tea and a cup. I was at work, and I'm walking by where all the clients sit, and I hear, "There she is." And you know how when you're in awe of somebody, like you're a musician, an actor, somebody that you really are like, oh my God, I can't wait to see this person, think
Mm-hmm.
back to your, childhood, or,
Sure.
a concert you went to or something, and the people walked in front of you. And yesterday it hit me when they said that, like they were so excited for me to massage them.
Wow.
And I got to realize the other side of it on how they felt about me. Because many times you go into work and you're like, oh yeah, hi, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. But I got to feel what it's like for somebody to feel that they couldn't wait to see me. And the lady said, we had a fear that you were going to call in sick today.
Wow.
And I said, don't have that fear. I said, I'm not sick. But the awareness of it, and it just was for me, it was a good feeling.
Would you say, Patty, it was a feeling of validation?
Yes. Yes. One that I've stuffed because of who I was, that going back to, I was attached to who I had been, and by working with my life coaches and spiritual coach, I've been able to feel that value, that validation. And yesterday it was just like, they're excited to see me.
Yeah.
They're excited for what I can bring to them.
And you make a difference.
Yes. And for me, massage is more than just massage. I'm very intuitive with the body, and I bring value with wisdom to them and helping them through situations in life. So,
and that's where the dialogue comes in. If somebody wants to talk,
yes.
It's on their dime. If
Yes.
they want to, if it turns into another session. I did have one time though. I had a massage, and the girl, it was all good. And then we started talking about relationships, and then she started dumping stuff on me and her situation. And then she started crying.
Oh, jeepers. Yeah.
Yeah, I turned into the therapist there. But yeah, I look at it this way. I must have been there for a reason. Maybe she needed somebody, and I was it. And the massage was good. It's fine.
I believe that in every situation that we go into, and I tell people that. People are like, do you want to switch this massage and do this? And I'm like, no, we have who we have. It was destined to be that way. My schedule is set by that. And when you start messing with that, that's when you start bringing negativity into you, or, things that can happen. So I stick to my schedule because of that.
Because you feel it was meant to be that way.
Either I needed them or they needed me.
Okay.
Yep. And it's either just by the touch of the hands or by the voice, depending on what it is. So,
and you know what? If somebody had to cancel for whatever reason, and then somebody took their place, that was probably meant to be.
It's still meant to be.
That happened, for a reason. I totally agree. Sometimes we don't look closely at those things in life. Even when people say, why am I here? Why is this challenge presenting itself to me? Maybe there's a lesson there. Probably is, and you're not seeing it.
And it's because they're not present. I know we've probably talked about this before.
Yeah.
We are not presently aware of everything going on around us. We're only thinking about us and what we can get and what we need, and how are we going to get it, and what's the next best thing that I can get.
Yep.
Where you're not present with the people around you and what you can do for them. And a life coach can help you build that, into who you are, so you can see why you feel the way you feel.
You are it's like watching TV in a different angle presenting itself, where you don't see that camera angle over here. You're only looking over here,
Yes.
and you're missing a lot. Um, I had a phone call the other day with somebody who's somewhat intuitive, and he just presented a couple of different views like a life coach would. He's just a friend. And I was like, wow, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I didn't see it
Yeah.
from his eyes, or a different perspective.
But
Do
we
you
have so
feel?
many blinders on.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
we're like that horse that's racing. You know, we can only see right there.
And it's from conditioning.
Hmm.
It's also the beliefs that we have from our subconscious, possibly placed there from our childhood, is what it is.
Yep.
But unless you recognize them, you're not moving forward. You're not figuring it out. I don't know if you listen to certain frequency music.
Yes.
It was always on my radar, but I never dug a little deeper into it. And I just found myself putting on some songs playlists, and it's just a drone, like, but it's a certain frequency, and I'll try a different one for a different reason. And after a while, I don't even know I'm listening to it, and I'm just working. The way I know I'm not listening to it is when I shut it off. It's like, oh no,
Yep.
because it feels empowering, and I guess it's clearing out negative energy in your mind, and just kind of resetting things.
Yeah. Each one's for a different level. Like theta is for your dreams. Um, alpha, I think, is healing. I think alpha and delta are healing vibes for the internal body. And
Yeah.
I have what you call a mindfold blindfold, and it doesn't let any light in. So you put that on, and then you can open up the third eye and see the vision. And it's one of the most powerful meditations you can ever do. And
Okay, we have like a couple of minutes left, but I got to learn about this. So this what makes it different from any other one?
no light can get through it. So you
Okay.
can sit and with all your lights on in your house and put this blindfold on, and it's completely dark. And if you're into meditation and opening up the third eye to see vision, you just look 20% up. You don't look way up, but you keep your eyes open with it. Where most of the time when you're in meditation, you're trying to keep your eyes closed and focus and hold yourself up and all that. With this, you can keep your eyes open so you're more relaxed. And then you look up about 20 degrees, and it shows. And when you get into that meditative state, you open up the third eye, and then you have visions. So for me, like last week when I was doing it, my business name flashed in front of me, The Hydrated Life. And I was like, wow. Because I've been questioning, okay, am I, is this really where I'm going to go with this, And that gave me confirmation that yes, this is it,
Hmm.
And I've been seeing a lot of greenery and stuff. So, and I'm trying to figure out what that means, but there's so much you can set your intention to that you're looking for. And in those it only has to be 10, 20 minutes too. It doesn't have to be for a long time, but it gets you to be able to go into that meditative state right away. And then I put on either theta or alpha waves when I'm doing it.
Wow. And that's what I and many of us struggle with, getting into that meditative state where, because what are we doing? Let me close my eyes. There's distractions. Is it really called mindful blindfold?
Mindfold blindfold. Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Thank
And
you for that.
it's written right on the front of it, right on the eyelid, on the eye part of it. Yep. I highly recommend it because it really lets you get into that state without struggling to keep your eyes closed and your body up straight. And, because it goes there, that's all distracting.
Totally.
It's all distracting.
Because you're thinking about that as opposed
Yeah.
to just thinking about whatever you're manifesting, and again, you don't always get the answer, but sometimes you get some clarity.
Yeah. Yes. You get clarity as to what your next step should be in some things in life. And it's really blessed me in the last 6 months. I had never been able to meditate with color and visions. And since putting that on and the music, now every time I do it, I get to see some kind of vision.
Wow. I'll be on Amazon in 1 minute.
Yep. I highly recommend it.
Wow. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And the hydratedlife.net is your website. And when we talk about hydrated, we are talking about replenishing your soul and giving you need hydration to live. So when we talk about hydration, we're talking about all those things around you that support you and move you forward with help from you. If somebody wants to connect with you, Patti, they go to the website, they can make a free consult.
Yes, there's a free clarity call there button, and just set up. It's a 45-minute call, and we just look at where you're at and if it's a good fit for us. And then we take each step from there. I have a 10-week course for the hydrated soul. And, we just take you through that satisfaction pie and everything that holds you back to move you into your next step. Because it might be a new job, might be a business that you're creating, could be a family problem.
Mm-hmm.
It could be some past trauma that you've got to work through.
And I want to add too that you are a cancer survivor. So if that's, challenge for somebody or somebody they that's on your radar, that's,
yes,
you moved your life forward from challenges there.
That's what started my journey to being inner healing, recognizing that I needed inner healing. And that's what I present to my clients, because that's everything.
You're so genuine. And you walk the walk. Yeah. And that's what makes you radically different, and you know what? You also get right to the point. It's clear. It's clear. And that's awesome.
Small talk and me, I don't want to take up time with my clients on the small talk of stuff. I mean, sometimes you have to get to where they need to be, but for the most part, let's hit this and how can we move you forward?
Well, that's what we started with today. Momentum for change.
Yeah.
Hydratedlife.net is a website. Patti, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Steve. I look forward to next week.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.